In SAP Fiori Launchpad, content is organized into spaces and pages. Think of a space as a category or tab in your Launchpad's top navigation bar, often aligned to a business area or role, for example, purchasing, sourcing and contracting, inventory processing, accounts payable, and so on. Each space contains one or more pages, which are like individual screens filled with app tiles relevant to that space. Let's review spaces once again. These are the top level menus. The spaces you see depend on your role and the configuration set by your administrator. For instance, you might have a purchasing space if you work with purchase orders, or a sales space if you handle sales orders. Each space is accessible via a tab or menu at the top of the Launchpad, allowing you to switch contexts quickly. And let's relook at the pages. A page lives within a space and displays a collection of tiles, apps, and sections. It's your canvas for the apps you need in that domain. For example, within the purchasing space, you might have a page purchase order processing showing tiles for creating purchase orders, and another page supplier evaluation for reviewing suppliers, running procurement reports, and so on. All those tiles can be grouped into sections on the page for better organization. We'll cover sections next. When you log in, you typically land on My Home, which is your personal default page, often a space of its own. My Home is designed for you to personalize heavily. You can add any apps you frequently use here, even if they belong to different business areas. Meanwhile, other spaces pages provided by your role might come pre-populated with relevant apps. You can navigate between spaces using the menu or tabs at the top of the Launchpad. Understanding the structure of spaces and pages is key because all your personalization will happen within this framework. Essentially, spaces and pages ensure your Launchpad isn't one giant list of apps, but a well-structured dashboard segmented by your work needs. Within a page, sections help you group related apps together, making the page easier to scan. You can think of sections like folders or headings on your home screen. They visually separate your apps into logical groups. For example, on your purchase requisition processing page, you might have sections such as requisitioning and insights to cluster similar tiles. Personalizing sections involves a few simple actions. Let's first see how to create a new section. To add a section, first enter the page edit mode. You can usually do this by selecting an Edit Current Page option available under your user menu. Once in edit mode, look for an Add Section button, commonly at the bottom of the page. Click this and a new untitled section will appear. Give your new section a descriptive name that reflects the tiles you plan to put there. For example, daily tasks. This helps keep your Launchpad organized at a glance. Let us now rename a section. Perhaps you want to update a section's title to better fit its contents. While in edit mode, simply enter the new name in the section's title area. Pick a clear name so you instantly recognize what's inside that section. Let us now reorder the sections. Over time, you might decide certain sections should appear higher or lower on the page based on priority. Reordering sections is typically a drag and drop action in edit mode. Click and hold the section header, then drag the entire section up or down the page to its new position. Arrange your sections in a way that the most important groups of apps are near the top for quick access. For example, if daily tasks are crucial, you'd likely want that section above Insights. After organizing sections, exit the edit mode. usually by clicking a close button. Your page will now display the sections in the order you set, with the names you chose, each containing its respective app tiles. This structuring of sections means when you glance at your Launchpad page, your brain can quickly zero in on the right group of apps. In short, sections are your friend in taming a busy Launchpad. Use them to create a logical flow that matches your work patterns. Now that you have sections ready, you'll want to fill them with the app tiles you need. This is where the App Finder comes in. The App Finder is like a store or library of all the apps available to you based on your role and permissions. Instead of scrolling through a massive list of everything, the App Finder helps you search and pick specific apps to add to your Launchpad page. It ensures you can discover available apps and integrate them into your personalized pages. To add new tiles to a page using the App Finder, let us follow these steps. First, enter edit mode on your page. Navigate to the page where you want to add a tile. Enter the personalization mode. In edit mode, you'll see options to rearrange tiles and add new ones. Next step is to open the App Finder. Look for a button labeled Add Tile. Clicking this will open the App Finder window. The App Finder typically appears on the right side of the screen and it contains a catalog of apps. You might see categories like All Apps, Catalogs, or apps grouped by business area. You can browse through these categories or use the search bar to find a specific app by name or keyword. Next step is find and select an app. In the App Finder, once you locate the app you want to add, select it. You might need to click an Add button next to the app name. Now we can exit App Finder and save. Use the back button to close the App Finder panel once you've added all the apps you need. After these steps, the new app tile will appear on your page in the section you specified. Repeat this process to add all your important apps. By curating your pages with the App Finder, you ensure that your Launchpad shows the tools you actually use rather than a one-size-fits-all list. This means no more hunting through menus for that one app you need. It'll be right where you put it every time. Personalization isn't just about adding new apps. It's also about trimming away the ones you don't need. A cluttered screen can be as bad as an empty one. Too many tiles can slow you down or distract you. If your Launchpad page contains tiles that you rarely or never use, you can remove them to declutter your view. Removing a tile is straightforward. Enter edit mode on your page, just as you did to add tiles. In edit mode, each tile usually shows a small remove icon on it. Simply click that remove icon on the tile you want to delete from your page. Let's quickly recap a few things to note about removing tiles. First, it's personal, not global. Removing a tile only affects your personal Launchpad view. You're not uninstalling the app or removing it for other users. You're just saying, I don't want to see this here. You can always add it back later via the App Finder if you realize you need it again. Second, if it's mandatory content, you can remove it. In most cases, the tiles on your pages can be removed freely. However, if you ever encounter a tile that you cannot remove, perhaps no remove icon appears. It might be a tile deemed essential by your administrators for that role space. These cases are rare and depend on your company's setup. For the vast majority of tiles, you have full control to hide them if they're not useful to you. And finally, you declutter for focus. Be a bit ruthless in cleaning up tiles. If you haven't clicked that app in weeks and it's not critical, consider removing it. You can always access less used apps from the app finder when needed without keeping them on the front page. The leaner your launchpad, the quicker you can find your go-to apps. After removing unnecessary tiles, exit the edit mode and enjoy your streamlined page. You'll likely notice that with fewer tiles, the ones you do care about stand out more. This reduces cognitive load and saves time. No more wading through icons that don't matter to you. Imagine opening a frequently used app and always having to enter the same company code or plant manually day after day. That's tedious and time consuming. SAP Fiori Launchpad offers a solution: user defaults. This feature lets you set default values for common fields like company code, plant, currency, and so on, so that many apps will pre-populate these fields with your preferred values. It's a simple setup that can save you countless clicks and typing in the long run. Here's how you can set your user default values. First, open the settings menu. Click on your user profile icon in the top right corner of the launchpad. It might display your initials or an avatar. In the drop-down menu, look for an option like Settings and click it. This will open the Launchpad settings dialog. Then navigate to default values. In the settings dialog, you'll see various categories: appearance, language and region, notifications, and so on. Find and select the default values section. This is where you can maintain your personal default entries. Choose a field and set a value. Within default values, you'll see a list of fields that can have defaults. For example, display currency, exchange rate type, company code, plant, controlling area, fiscal year, and so on. Click on a field you want to set and enter your default value. For instance, if you always work with company code 1010, set company code as 1010. If your main plant is 1010, set plant as 1010. You might be able to type in the value or select from a drop-down of allowed values. It varies by field. Save your defaults. After entering your preferred values, click the Save button. Your defaults are now stored with your profile. You can typically close the settings window after saving. Once set, these default values will automatically fill in when you open apps that use those fields. For example, if you set a default company code, when you launch an app like Create Purchase Order, the company code field will already show 1010 or whatever you set by default. Of course, you can override it on the fly in the app if you need to choose a different value for a specific task, but having a good default means one less thing to type for most transactions. This personalization is immensely helpful. It reduces data entry errors since your preferred value is selected consistently and saves time. Think of it like your phone remembering your home address or work location. You don't have to input it each time. Similarly, your Launchpad knows your usual parameters. You can always update these defaults in the settings if your role or typical values change. For example, if you move to a different plant or department. Setting user defaults is a quick win for efficiency. A few seconds to configure and then a payoff every single time you use those apps. One great aspect of SAP Fiori Launchpad personalization is that your changes persist. You don't have to repersonalize each time you log in. The system remembers your layout and settings. When you add a tile, rename a section, or set a default, those changes are automatically saved to your profile, often immediately or when you exit edit mode. The next time you open the Launchpad, it will look just as you left it. with your custom sections and tiles in place. In short, personalization in Fiori is typically live saved. There isn't a big save process you need to worry about for layout changes. However, what if you ever want to undo your personalizations and start fresh? Maybe you added a bunch of tiles or sections and later decide to simplify, or perhaps something isn't working as expected after too many tweaks. Don't worry, you can always reset your Launchpad personalization to the default state provided by your administrator or the standard role configuration. To reset your personalized Launchpad page back to default, you can use the reset option. Open the user menu, click your profile icon in the top right corner of the Launchpad and go to Edit Current Page. Look for an option like Reset Section. Click that option to reset the section. The Launchpad will refresh and the page you reset will now return to the default arrangement of sections and tiles as defined by your role or the system defaults. Any tiles you had added or removed on that section will be back to the system default state. A good approach is to remove or adjust things manually if it's just a few changes you want to revert. But if you feel your page is too far gone or you just want to see the original layout again, reset by sections is your friend. On the flip side, if you love your personalized setup, rest easy knowing it's saved to your profile. Even if you log in from a different computer or a different day, your Launchpad should appear with all your customizations intact. And of course, you can continue tweaking. Personalization is an ongoing process. The system is quite flexible, letting you continuously refine your Launchpad as your needs evolve. Personalizing your SAP Fiori Launchpad isn't just about making things look neat, it has real productivity benefits. By tailoring the Launchpad to your workflow, you can significantly improve your daily efficiency. Here's a quick recap of the advantages. First is quicker access to apps. With your frequently used styles added to your pages and unnecessary ones removed, you spend less time searching for the right app. Your most important applications are front and center, exactly where you expect them. This reduces navigation time and frustration, especially when you're in a hurry. Next, it's organized workspaces. Using spaces, pages, and sections in a thoughtful way means your Launchpad mirrors how you think about your work. For example, if you handle multiple roles, each space can compartmentalize those duties. Within a page, well-named sections group related tasks. This logical layout acts like a roadmap for your day, helping you stay focused and not overwhelmed by irrelevant options. It then helps with reduced data entry and errors. By setting user default values for fields like company code or plant, you eliminate a lot of repetitive typing. Not only does this save time, but it also cuts down on mistakes. No more accidentally typing the wrong code in a hurry. You get to start transactions with the right context automatically filled in. It provides empowerment and comfort. There's a subtle but important benefit in feeling that the system is yours. When you customize the interface to suit you, it becomes more comfortable to use. Over time, you develop muscle memory for where your tiles are and confidence that the Launchpad is arranged to support your priorities. This can reduce stress and make you more proactive in using the system, since it's not a messy hurdle to jump over each day. In summary, a personalized Launchpad means less wasted time and fewer clicks. It puts the spotlight on what matters most in your job and dims the background noise of extraneous options. The result? You can get things done faster and with greater ease, freeing up time to tackle more important tasks or maybe even finish work a little early. Just as Apple has long emphasized making technology personal, letting you arrange your iPhone home screen or Mac workspace to fit your life, SAP Fiori allows you to shape your digital work environment to fit your needs. By now, you've learned how to tweak your Launchpad, organizing spaces and pages, curating sections and tiles, and setting defaults so the system anticipates your needs. The power to personalize is in your hands, and it can transform how efficiently and happily you get your work done. Take a moment to reflect on your own workflow. What's the first change you'll make to your Launchpad to make it truly yours? Maybe you'll add that one app you use every morning to your homepage, or create a new section for a project you're focusing on. Which feature do you think will save you the most time? Grouping your apps, setting a default value, or maybe removing distractions? Consider how these adjustments might cut down on daily frustration. By personalizing your Launchpad, you're not just rearranging icons, you're streamlining your day. So go ahead and make your SAP Fiori Launchpad as comfortable and efficient as your favorite personal device. After all, the best technology adapts to you, not the other way around. Now it's your turn. How will you make it yours?